your overall initial impressions for Weezer's Seasons?
Weezer's a band they've always kind of been more of a quality or quantity over quality type band, if we're going to be honest. I mean, in the past 2 years alone, since 2020, they put out, this will be 6 pretty much full length releases from them. They had Okay Human, which was really good. They've had Van Weezer, which is, to be honest, my favorite thing that they put out. So going into this, when I heard they were doing 4 releases, all with different sounds for each to represent each season, released on the first day of each season, I thought, wow, that's a really cool concept. I was very excited for it. I'll get into it as we discuss album by album, but I think it was, again, hit or miss. Some I thought nailed the concept better than others, and I don't think there's a single bad release in the bunch to say. But going into it, it's every time I go into a Weezer release, it's kind of all right, what are we getting? Are we getting a good Weezer album, or are we getting a bad Weezer album? Because let's be honest, there's a handful of those. Very prolific band, but again, big into quantity over quality, which can hurt an artist. I don't think that they've had any bad releases in the past couple of years, though. I think they've been, honestly, had one of the best streaks they've had in quite a while.
All righty, Mike, what about you? Going into Weezer's Seasons project, what would you say?
It's interesting that the main focus of this project is very focused on a concept, and I feel like that could be its weakest point, is that it sticks to its concept to kind of like to the nail, and it's like almost bound by this theme that almost reverberates over all 4 of the EPs. Be it, this is the season we're bringing, this is the sound we're bringing, and it kind of in a lot of ways boxes them into kind of maintaining that. So if you're not a fan of that from the get-go, you're kind of along for a ride you're not really wanting to be on. So like and don't get me wrong, there are some that deviate from the, okay, this is autumn, so everything sounds like we're trying to do an autumn theme, or this is spring, so everything's sounding happy in spring. For the most part, that's the case, but there are some deviations which are the saving graces, I feel. But unfortunately, when you are so into doing a concept, sometimes you tend to you forget that your mission outdoes the actual product. Which is actually kind of funny, because I was watching a Shark Tank episode about to deviate from this. The Shark Tank episode was, these guys have a soap company, and the soap company is like all about giving back to the community, and you can pay how much you want to pay for the bar of soap, and it's all about being like all this good for the planet and good for everything, but they weren't selling anything. So basically the mission was greater than the actual product. You know what I'm saying? So like almost kind of compare that idea to this. Like the mission is greater than the actual product. So in some cases, in other cases not. So yeah.
Yeah, for me personally, going into this whole, when they first said, I was almost like in shock that they even said, oh, we're not putting out 2 albums next year, we're putting out 4 albums. And I between Colin and I and Mike, we all discussed like what these albums could be called. I mean, I still call them albums because there's like a cohesive, I guess, thought throughout them, because they're seasons, and each one pertains to a different season of the year. But when I first heard that they were doing 4 albums over the course of 2022, I was like, are you what? And plus the Hella Mega Tour was still going on. They were still touring like crazy. I mean, Weezer's still touring like crazy too right now too. So there's a lot. They're a very busy band at the moment too. I have to say, this as a concept, I really, really liked this. Because it's something we haven't really seen before from a major label band, if you will. We haven't seen something like this ever, truthfully. I mean, yes, there's been like part 1, part 2 albums or companion albums and stuff like that, but I don't think we've ever seen over the course of any period of music in general, in our modern day, the past 75 years or so of rock or pop music, whatever, or pop punk, whatever you want to call it. I don't think we've ever had something quite like this. So getting something like this over the course of 2022, I feel like it's actually a really special thing. Truthfully, I mean, that might sound weird to call it special, but I was intrigued by it, and overall, I liked. We're going into each one individually, but I did like what I heard for the most part over each one. I thought it was a very interesting premise, and I'm curious to see where they go from here. Of course, and I do agree with Kyle. Van Weezer and OK Human were both really great as well. I mean, I like those albums quite a bit, almost way too much, truthfully. But yeah. So I mean, that's just my initial impression. Were you gonna say something?
We did see actually more than this technically with Green Day's trilogy back in 2012. That
right,
actually resulted in, I believe, this 37 songs. This brought us 28, just one more release technically.
Right. I forgot about that because I mean, I was thinking to myself, have we ever seen anything like
most
this?
people do.
Yeah. I was like, wait, what? And then, the Green Day trilogy. That's right.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Well, another conversation for another time. Go check out our career discography breakdown of that. Just saying.